I look back at when I actually started my company and how it all came about. I used to work for a gym. I wasn't always independent or on my own. And I remember being in the gym and a woman walked in and she just had like this really dark, gloomy presence to her. Not to make any judgments, but that was just her presence at the time. And I saw everyone just kind of just running away from her, not literally, but just not wanting to deal with her or approach with her as a customer because she didn't seem as though she would be the potential candidate or the prospective client. And I remember the manager clearly coming up to me and said, Jamal, I have the perfect client for you. So me just being the person I am, I said, absolutely, let's talk. And I brought her into the office and she and I were engaging in conversation and I was just learning a little bit about her history. And at the time, you can't imagine, this woman had to have been maybe over 400 pounds. She was, her clothing was in deplorable conditions. She didn't really groom herself. You can tell that her physical appearance wasn't at the priorities of her life. And over time, I got to know her a little bit more and understood why she was in that state. And she became just this magical gift in my life. And at the time, I didn't think she was actually going to get any training sessions. Again, she didn't look like she had the money to spend. But that didn't mean anything to me at the point. The point was that she needed help, and I was available to be able to help her at the time. So, long story short, we sat and we talked, and she actually ended up not only purchasing training sessions, she actually ended up purchasing one of the most expensive packages there and became a long-term client. Now, the condition and the state this woman came to me in, she was extremely depressed. She had recently just migrated here from her country, and she didn't really have a lot of friends or any social networking. She was just really here working and trying to survive, and her only purpose in life was to send money back to her family. Other than that, there was no outside outlets. There wasn't any life there, so to speak. She was just very, very, very lethargic and just really in a strong state of depression. But there was a breaking point where I guess she realized she needed to do something different. Over a course of a year or so, she and I worked together. She lost weight. She worked on being a citizen because at the time she was an immigrant. She lost over 100 and something pounds. She completely shifted her whole entire mood. Just a little bit more excited about life and more happy about being alive. And, she invested herself in her community, and the list goes on and on. I mean, this woman, from the time that I met her, from the time that she and I, kind of reunited, she became like this new person. And so I remember clearly one day she walked into the gym and she says to me, I don't want to say her accent because it's just going to ruin it, but she goes, Jamel, why am I giving the gym all the money and you do all the work? And I remember saying to her, I said, well, it's morally wrong for me to take the money. And not only that, it's illegal because I have a relationship with this gym and, there's an order of command here. You pay them and they pay me. She said, but it doesn't make any sense. Why should I give them all the money if you're doing all the work? You're the one that helped me change my life. You're the one that helped me, want to live again. You're the one that made it so that when I wake up in the morning, I have a reason and a purpose to want to get out of bed. And she said, I don't understand why I would give anyone who hasn't had any role in that the money when you deserve it all. So I said to her, I said, you know what, don't worry about it, it's okay. And I think it took me maybe a couple days to really, really snap into what she was saying because she didn't let it go. She was very tenacious about this. And so I said to her one day, I said, you're right. It was one of my biggest aha moments ever. I said, why don't I take the money? Why am I giving it to the third party? And from that point, I started my business. And she was my first client when I became independent. And to this day, she and I go back and forth about, who owes who, because there was a year of work that I may have done with her. And on paper, it may have seemed like I just changed and saved her life. But I say to her is that you started my career, which has been the catalyst for changing and helping and saving many other people's lives. So to this day, she is absolutely one of my favorite clients. And it's exciting to look back at that story because it really refreshes my mind as to where I was and where I am now, and how you can think that something what appears to be insignificant can be one of the most significant things ever. So I'm very appreciative for her and very appreciative for the blessing that she was able to give me.